Hey there, morbid maniacs. It's time for another spooky video. And for tonight's spooky video, I'm going to be talking about the Big Lots ghost. Before I get into this video, I just wanted to say I'm sorry that it's been so long since I posted a video for you guys. January has been, because as I'm filming this, it's still January. January has been a very stressful, tiresome month for me. A lot has been going on, but it is, as I like to call it, the free trial run starting February, which is when this is going to be posted. I'm going to have a fresh start. January is just like the trial run to all my goals and things that I want to accomplish. For those of you who do not know, I have worked at Big Lots for 5 years now, and I absolutely love my job. I love my little work family, but I figured there was not any other better time to make a video on this subject than now, because all of our stores are closing. We're still hopeful for the future that things could change, but as of right now, we're still kind of in limbo, trying to figure out what's gonna happen. In the building, we have a male spirit who we like to call Dave. Now, we don't really know how Dave got there, or the history behind Dave, or the history behind the building. All we know is that it's there, and it's definitely male. There may be other spirits that are in the building also that are female. And the reason why I say that is because we've had a few, I haven't, but some of my coworkers have had a few paranormal experiences with a female spirit as well. So there may be more than one spirit in the building. Dave knows our names. He will try to speak to us, and often we'll hear a voice. Sometimes it's inaudible. There was one time, this one really gets me. There was one time that I was walking away from the registers. I had a female coworker up front, and I heard a voice whisper my name about 3 times. And this was a male voice. This wasn't a female voice. I turn around because I think that it's my boss, and no one's there except for my female coworker who is busy doing something. And I'm not the only one who has experienced their name being called. A couple of my other coworkers have also had this happen to them as well. And then there was an incident. This happened a couple of months ago, actually. I was standing in the office with my manager, and we were talking about a funny experience that I had, a really funny story about when I was learning how to drive a car. From right behind me, like right over my shoulder, we hear a male laugh, and it was almost like he was trying to mimic a witch, like the Halloween witch, like kind of laugh, but it was a male's voice that laughed. Me and him both stopped mid-sentence, looked at each other. He's like, "You heard that too?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he comes over the radio and he asks my male coworker if he said anything. And of course, my coworker says that, you know, he didn't say a word. And there was nobody in there at the time except for me and my manager, so it was a little strange. Now, I do want to point out that I don't feel any sort of threat, any sort of malice from the spirit or spirits that are at Big Lots. They seem to be like the friendly type. They seem playful, like they want to be involved with stuff in the store, but they're definitely not like malicious. I have also seen this entity as well. There was one time that I was sitting in the break room. I was having myself a break, and I was the only one in there. Office is like right beside the break room, but there was no one in the office either, because sometimes when there's someone in the office and they're talking to someone, you can also hear it in the break room because they're side by side. But at this time, there was no one in the office, no one else in the break room, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a figure standing in the doorway to the break room. And I look up with my full vision, and of course, there is not a single soul in there. And where Big Lots is also a furniture store, the mattress is a certain way to where they can walk through them and pick out a mattress for the customer. Like there's a gap in between the mattresses is what I'm trying to say. And one day I'm walking out of the break room into the store, and out of the corner of my eye, my peripheral vision, I see like a shadow figure standing in between the mattresses in this gap. And I thought, you know, it's my male coworker, so I kind of like take a few steps backwards and I look again, and there's nobody standing there. And then this happened literally, I think, last month, like towards the end of last month, beginning of this month, or January. I decided to stay over until close with my manager and one of my coworkers. We had closed up the store for the night, and my manager is back there in the cash office counting tills, and my coworker is putting away returns. And I was coming up front to put my return buggy away. So I noticed on the right side of the registers that there was a male figure walking up there up front. And from what I could see, it really resembled my manager, so that's who I thought it was. And then whenever I looked again, of course, there's nobody there. And I told my manager, I told my coworker, and my manager's like, oh, that was just Dave. Like, it's no big deal at this point. We're just used to it. And this gets me. So like a couple of months ago, I was checking out a customer. This was an older lady. She looks at me after I get done checking her out, and she goes, do you guys have a night watchman by chance? And I look at her and I'm like, no. Why is that? And she goes, well, I drive back and forth up through here around 3 or 4 in the morning. I have no idea why. I don't know if she works up that way. She said that she drives by our store at early hours in the night, and it looks like there's a person walking back and forth inside of the store. We do get trucks really early in the morning. Sometimes my coworkers have to be there at the ass crack of dawn, but I don't believe that that's what this was, because I don't think anybody's gonna be there at 3 in the morning. Correct me if I'm wrong, especially on like a nightly basis. And then this was like when I first started working there. I was closing up with one of my female managers, and I was putting away returns. I was doing my nightly tasks that she had given me to do, and she was back in the cash office counting tills. And whenever the music stops is when I know that she's coming up there. So like the music shut off and she starts walking up towards the front, and I see her. And as soon as she sees me, she stops. Were you in the candy aisle by chance? Were you waving something around in that aisle? No, I was up front. I just got done with my tasks. Had said that on the security camera there was this little white object that was kind of just like waving back and forth in the candy aisle. And she said that when she went to check it again, this object was gone. In my opinion, it's very odd, because like if it was dust or like a dust bunny or something like that, it would have stayed up there. Not to mention, if it was one, there was no air or anything that was blowing out that could have made it move back and forth in front of the camera like that. And then I don't know if he's gonna feel comfortable with me sharing his story or not, but it was just too good not to share. One day my manager said that he was moving a sofa from the warehouse. I think he was moving it into furniture or something. He said that he was walking up the back way, and the edge of the sofa had knocked into a counter and knocked a toy off. And this toy slides underneath the counter. Well, he's in one aisle, and then on the other aisle, in the other aisle, which is right beside of him, he hears a female voice go, "Don't worry, I'll get it." And then he said that whoever or whatever this was kicked the toy almost like it was a football all the way underneath the counter and out on the floor in front of him. And so he picks it up, walks around the corner to see who said it, to thank them, and there's nobody there. There's nobody in sight of where he was. And then of course we have like the other odd things that happen which could possibly be explainable, like our automatic doors opening and shutting as if it senses that there's someone standing in front of it. Like I said, they are automatic doors, so there is a high chance, because sometimes they do glitch, there is a high chance that they could just be picking up on something. Sometimes it'll be very odd because like nobody will be standing anywhere near it. And then there was one time that I had placed buggy, like we line our buggies up, and I had just got done placing a buggy inside of another one. And I was over nowhere near it talking to my coworkers and I believe my manager at the time. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, this buggy just pops out from the other ones. And it makes a noise, so it kind of startles us, and we look over. And there's nobody standing beside it. Like, this was late at night when we were getting ready to close. So yeah, I definitely believe that our store is haunted. I've even talked to my coworkers and my managers about like what's gonna happen to Dave once our store does finally shut up, unless it decides to stay open. Like I said, there's still a slight chance. Hopefully, my fingers are crossed. But I thought about like bringing some sage in there and like, you know, trying to help him go to the light. But honestly, he seems really happy to be there. But yeah, I feel like this is just like a common occurrence for most retail stores. And I think that's where many people get like that odd, eerie feeling from like empty retail stores like Kmart and like the ones that have went out of business, because they're empty and they just give you this like eerie vibe. I've heard many people talk about like haunted retail experiences. Even when I worked at Spirit Halloween, which used to be an Elder Beerman, which is a department store, we had a ghost there also. So I feel like it's just like a common occurrence for most retail stores to have like residual energy. Which, if you haven't seen my Spirit Halloween video, I did make a video all about that ghost too. I'll leave it somewhere in this video for you guys to go check out if you haven't. But let me know what you guys think, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Become a morbid maniac. Also, be sure to hit that bell notification. That way you get notified every single time I upload a new video. Be sure to head on over to that second channel, Mel Vlogs, where I will be posting all of my ASMR, all of my other random vlogs and other stuff. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.